I'd like to start thanking CIFMers organization for having invited us to tell you a little bit about our experience in the development of facility management in Ecopetrol. This is the Colombian state oil company, and we have Alexander Molina. I'll just present him, and then maybe with questions we will be glad to answer them. I'd like to call the attention to the fact that if you look at the logo of Ecopetrol, it's an iguana. It's a typical animal in the tropical zones in Colombia and other parts of South America. And it tries to evoke the environmental compromise Ecopetrol has. And even though it's a oil company, which for its function is a company that in some ways obviously pollutes, it is also oriented towards the maximum cleanliness in all its operations and sustainability, and especially in non-industrial buildings that we try to administer. A little bit about Ecopetrol. Ecopetrol is a Colombian oil company. It started in 1951, and it's listed as by Forbes as a 114th company, and it's the second one in South American context. And it's a state company, but it also is on the stock market. And 81% of the stocks is in the hands of the Colombian government, and the rest is in private hands. And it's the biggest company in Colombia, and of course the biggest oil company in Colombia, and it's part of the 35 biggest oil companies in the world. Its mission is to find energy sources with value to our clients, with special care for the environment. And we have employees that try to develop their relationship with our interest group. Ecopetrol is nowadays part of a group, and our compromise is to produce in 2015 1 million barrels a day, and in 2020 1,300,000, and we have clean barrels. What we mean with that is that no accidents, no environmental incidents, and in harmony with our interest, and sustainable in 3 dimensions: economical, environmental, and social. And we have profitability of 17%, more or less. Ecopetrol, as I said, is in a growth process, and nowadays, as we say, we have this group which has invested in other countries like Peru, or also investments in the United States. And we have also other companies in this group who are involved in transportation, etc. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the company decided to create a center for shared resources, following the global trend. It includes all the different areas that are dedicated to services, and we have this center for shared services, and whose projection is here for the year 2015 to be the best option in service management, and that can generate value for our objectives. And it's centered in Colombia and all its different installations. But our aim is for next year to be able to provide all different services for our group. From this shared services direction, we have the shared services group, which is dedicated to different assistance and recruiting services, which is involved in all the IT management, the unit for shared services in treasury and financial operations, the shared services unit for real estate and administrative services, and the shared services attention unit, which is located in all areas and all regions of the country, and which is the visible face for all clients. And it's part of the pack of services we provide. The shared services unit has other subunits, which would be the coordination of non-industrial installation management, and also with food services, personnel transportation, or events and catering, which are related to food. If you follow closely, the direction is dedicated to facilities, but I'll try to focus more on the non-industrial installation management. Some of the services we provide are CAPEX, OPEX, and the infrastructure coordination. We do adequation of infrastructures and all those maintenance services like cafeterias or toilets, and we have small hotels distributed across the country. Here's the portfolio, where we can see the installation maintenance, also the pest control, for example, sanitary, structural, architectonic structures, all installations. We do also the maintenance of green zones, everything that has to do with gardening, the maintenance of some of the water bodies. We have almost 100 lakes near our installations, and all the waste management of solid and liquid waste, and also spaces, and of course we attend to 5 different regions of the country. It's 86 municipalities, in which we have 480 installations, of which 296 are non-industrial, which are basically the office buildings, the casinos, physical security areas, some sanitation installations we also have for our company. In total, it's more than 1 million square meters in non-industrial areas, and more than 7 million in industrial areas. And we work with 236 contracts. We have a very particular viewpoint, which is, since we are a state company, we have a very strong social responsibility, and we are compelled to contract local companies, always in each town or city. And this is because of the legal imperative. We have to do this as a state company. What was before this shared services direction and before we evolved into this direction? We've been for 60 years doing things the same way. Specifically, the non-industrial installations are seen as non-productive zones for the company. So maybe they're not as important as industrial assets like pumps or plants, refineries. So it hadn't been developed in the best way possible in these past 60 years. We didn't have an inventory of our installations. There was uncertainty and discontinuation of a lot of assets because of the volume of our installations, not enough personnel, or even technical competence for this. None of our employees were educated in facilities management. What predominated was corrective activity instead of preventive. There was no maintenance and control of resources, and information was not up to date. What has evolved with global trends is the whole thing of maintenance of non-industrial installations. It was basically zero, and it was completely corrective with no preventive measures. And we have low quality, inefficiency, and not enough capacity. We started looking at what are the best ways to evolve these services and to improve them, and for the coordination of our installation management. And even facility management is something new in Colombia. There are no universities where you can study this aspect. We started to look at the international level, and we tried to look at this discipline and trying to find a model that could be sustainable and high quality. With effective use of resources. We started talking about a model. What do? We have to do space management, sustainability management, and service maintenance. And on this, we are founding our model, obviously taking into account all the different projects. What are we doing for the project management? In this area, we've been using the best resources from the PMI, the Project Management Institute. We have a model that's based on phases or different steps, where the first step would be the conceptualization of the idea. There's a decision-making process there from a high-level employee. Then there would be the selection of an alternative. That would be step 2. We work on a charter project in the second phase, and we select the best alternative. In the third phase, we define the project, and we define all the engineering aspects for edification, any construction project. Fourth phase is execution, and the last one is the operation entry. And in all of these steps, facility management is present. We've began integrating the whole thing so that we could count on personnel that could work on the best results for the company. In maintenance management, in 2012 and 2013, we started the construction of a process, business process management, to generate processes related to infrastructure management. And this is how we started the process. We can see it here on this chart, where we talk about maintenance and space management and corrective maintenance petitions. And it's dimensioned in ARIS, which is a software that's specialized in processes. And also, we started with diagnostics that year in 2012. After 60 years, we didn't know what we had in our installations, and we also started with a systemic focus, understanding our company as a group of systems. In 2014, we started to develop the model properly. We're starting the CAPEs, which are the indicators for each phase of the process. And we're also starting to see which tools for control and information we can apply. We don't have, in the non-industrial area, a software that we could use. In the industrial area, there's software, but it's now the company is migrating towards SAP, and I think we are trying to stay on that train so that in 2015 we can have a technological habilitator for all this. And have indicators that are based on confidence of installations. In the aspect of spaces, we've also been working since 2012. I try to show you the process where we're immersed in the management of spaces. We're focused on the architecture of our areas, and we have more than 400 installations that have been built over the 60 years of history of this company. Electrical systems, sanitary systems, and we have to know first what we have so we can manage it effectively. Like I was saying, we developed a model for attention and which software we're going to use to process petitions, and which software we're going to use for management, also the indicators that are associated to this topic. And we want an integration of all the prevention systems or emergency response in the installations, all the fire alarms of evacuation or fire stairs. And what do we hope for in 2015? We also want this technological habilitator or software that helps us manage all these spaces and indicators that are effective that we do not possess nowadays. Well, as I was saying, Ecopetrol, from its mission and vision, has a strong compromise with environmental issues. And as facility managers, we have to develop this in our industrial installations. We've been working on this area since 2012, basically, more or less 3 years, when we generated a guide where we started contemplating the installation of architectonical elements that could help us save energy or make a more efficient use of water. We've generated these different norms and company rules where we started to also have the help of consultants in this area. Today, in one of the forums, we're talking of the environmental area that should be led by the facility management area. But in any case, we started leading in this aspect, and logically, we've obtained great benefits from this specialty. So what's the environmental management unit? And in all our equations and all the work we're doing on installations, currently we have this component that we've tried to do, the green building. We still don't have the elite certificates for all of the buildings, but we're going to start a new headquarters in Bogota. We want to do one big center, which is currently now 7 buildings. And the idea is that it should have certification. In other municipalities in the country, we've built similar buildings. And we have LED illumination, energy efficiency, by water saving. And some of the camps we have that are basically in the jungle or the east of the country, which is very productive from the oil exploitation point of view.
And we're working with buildings that are oriented towards light edifices that can be transported with ease and that have lesser impact on the areas where we work. There are some examples there. The whole air conditioning control aspect or water. But they're more or less the steps we've done in the direction, and we're working with this area. And step by step, I think we'll have very good energy efficiency, which is very important, and which we will be thanked for. To end, I'll display a video. Words are just words. Only when they are backed up by actions do they possess the power to build a better future. Because of that, for Ecopetrol, family is pride, stability is employment, parents example, motivation certainty, effort is work, and a sincere outlook, joy. Plateaus are progress, greatness, diversity. The coffee axis is impulse, and its beauty. The rivers are life, forests are breath, and the coasts are strength. In Ecopetrol, words are actions which make us trust in a better future. A future that inspires us is Colombia. Ecopetrol, energy for the future. Thank you very much.